Hi everyone, this is Jonathan. Welcome back to Systems, Security, and Governance. Let me ask you a question. What do you think? Is ITIL still relevant? If ITIL is still relevant, why do so many people say it's outdated? And if it's not relevant anymore, why do so many large US enterprises still use it? This is one of the most common questions I hear from IT professionals today. Is ITIL still worth learning today and beyond? Is it still worth certifying in? And does it actually help your career? Or is it just a checkbox? You would have probably heard things like, ITIL is too bureaucratic. ITIL doesn't work with Agile or DevOps. ITIL is just theory, not real life. And at the same time, job descriptions still mention ITIL. Enterprises still structure teams around it, and governance teams still rely on it. So what's actually going on? In this video, we are going to give you a clear, realistic answer from a real US enterprise, career, and ROI perspective. By the end of this video, you'll know when ITIL is worth it, when it's not, and how to think about ITIL the right way today and beyond. So let's get started. Why people think ITIL is dead. First, let's address the criticism, because some of it is fair. A lot of people think ITIL is outdated because of how it was implemented in the past. In many organizations, ITIL became process-heavy, document-driven, slow and rigid change approvals took weeks. Teams focused more on compliance than outcomes, and IT felt like a blocker instead of an enabler. So when Agile and DevOps came along, ITIL got labeled as the enemy. But here's the key point most people miss. Those failures weren't caused by ITIL itself. They were caused by poor interpretation and process-first thinking. In other words, people didn't implement ITIL. They implemented bureaucracy, and then they blamed ITIL for it. What ITIL actually is in today's scenarios. ITIL today, especially ITIL 4, is not about rigid processes. It's about value, outcomes, and flow. Modern ITIL aligns with Agile delivery, DevOps practices, cloud-native environments, product-centric IT models. ITIL doesn't tell you what tool to use. It doesn't tell you how fast to move. It helps you answer questions like, how does it create value for the business? How do we balance speed with risk? How do we scale operations without chaos? That's why ITIL is still deeply embedded in large US enterprises, especially in industries like finance, healthcare, insurance, government, and defense. Large SaaS platforms, because when systems fail, when regulators ask questions, or when outages hit production, move fast isn't enough. You need structure, but smart structure, and that's where ITIL still fits. Career reality, when ITIL helps and when it doesn't. Now let's talk career impact. Honestly, ITIL by itself won't transform your career. Just getting certified and memorizing practices, that won't impress hiring managers anymore. But here's where ITIL does matter. ITIL helps when you're working in or moving toward roles like IT operations, service management platform, ownership, governance, risk and compliance, enterprise architecture, IT leadership. In these roles, you're expected to understand how services are designed, how incidents, changes, and risks connect, how IT decisions affect business outcomes. ITIL gives you a shared language that leadership, auditors, and enterprise teams understand. If you combine ITIL with cloud knowledge, Agile or DevOps experience, security, or GRC understanding, you become far more valuable than someone who only knows tools. That's the real ROI. ITIL versus certifications versus real skills. Here's an important mindset shift. Stop thinking of ITIL as a certification. Think of it as enterprise literacy. ITIL helps you understand how large organizations actually operate. Certifications come and go. Frameworks evolve. But the need for service ownership, risk awareness, operational stability, business alignment, that's not going away. The people who struggle with ITIL are usually trying to use it as a rulebook. The people who succeed with ITIL use it as a thinking framework, and that difference matters a lot. ITIL still worth it? Here's the short answer. Yes, ITIL is still worth it today and beyond, but only if you stop treating it like a checklist, a rigid process model, or a certification trophy. ITIL works when you use it to understand enterprise systems, support Agile and DevOps, enable governance without killing speed, communicate effectively with leadership. If you're early in your career, ITIL helps you see the bigger picture. If you're mid or senior level, ITIL helps you move into influence and leadership roles. And if you work in GRC or regulated environments, ITIL is still one of the most practical frameworks available. Let's wrap this up. ITIL isn't dead. Bad implementations are. ITIL isn't anti-Agile. Misunderstanding is. And ITIL isn't about passing exams. It's about understanding how enterprise IT really works. If you use ITIL as a mindset, not a rulebook, it's still incredibly relevant. If this helped you rethink ITIL, like the video, subscribe for more real-world IT and GRC insights. Thank you for your time.